longest countdown ever. It was like 15 seconds of counting down 3 numbers.
It was like 2 minutes before the countdown because it was 11:02.
Because it's 11:02, guys. Sorry about the minor delay there. Hopefully everybody had a nice chat in our room while we were getting prepared. Tony had to yell at some people before we could hear this morning.
I was talking to people.
He was talking to people aggressively fast. Anyways, it's Friday. We're excited to be here. Denny's finishing up a fly rod case so that he can go fly fishing this weekend with his 3-parter. 4-parter. This is a 3-parter.
That's a 2-parter.
Oh, well, for Pete's sakes. So I guess if I would, whatever.
You can make it any length you want, folks.
How long are fly rod?
Fly rod.
I've
heard of them 12 feet long.
12 feet long?
Most of them are between 7 and 9 feet. That's a good average.
7 to 9 is about standard.
Depends on how big a fly you want to catch.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Rue. Well, if you guys missed last Friday, we're just going to be going from there. So you should watch that after you watch this. Or you can just not watch us live right now. But that'd be silly because then you couldn't participate. So in any case, we've got this 4-piece fly rod case that we are working on. So this is where we got to last Friday. So Denny got the little, he got the PVC pipe wrapped and sewn. Mm-hmm. And then we got the little butt cap put in.
Yes, but we haven't stitched it yet.
But we haven't stitched it yet, which we're going to be doing a
French box stitch.
French box stitch today, guys.
This is sort of a hybrid French box stitch, but on the other end, the cap end, we're going to be doing an actual French box stitch.
Okay, well, tell us why it's a hybrid.
Okay, first off, I finished this one.
You did.
And it's got the cap and everything on it.
It looks pretty snazzy.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. But anyway, this is an actual French box stitch. Can you go to this camera?
Okay. Sorry, there's still some goofy audio.
Okay. And what the deal is, the actual sleeve and the cap are both cut at a 45-degree angle.
All right.
So they actually butt together like this. But on this end,
you have those 2 pieces.
The cap is just in there, and this tube piece just goes around and covers it. And I just beveled the edge on this, but we can still do that basic type of the stitch. But anyway, that's what we're doing today. We're going to build that cap, and we're going to stitch that in. And I guess let's stitch that in first off.
That sounds good. Because otherwise, I think we might forget.
Yes, we might. Probably me. Okay, and I'm going to set this. Generally, a stitch line is about 1/8 of an inch, and I'm going to go a hair wider than that on this because we're going through at an angle. So I'm going to go about to 3/16 of an inch. I just measured that precisely.
He did. Everything that he does is exactly precisely.
Yes. And I'm just going to go around the end of this cap. You want to kind of take care and make as a nice even a line as you can. And on the actual end, I'm even going to go wider. I'm going to go almost 1/4 of an inch.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Tony, are we good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
All right. Now the outside, or the tube side, is the part that I'm going to mark with my stitch wheel, my overstitch wheel. And I'm going to use this number 5 again. And when I was stitching up the seam on the tube, I just went every other stitch, every other hole. So I was actually stitching about 2.5 stitches per inch. But this, I'm gonna use every hole on this. All right. Now I'm not going to mark this inside. The inside you have to eyeball.
Okay.
And the trick to it is to go when you stick your awl through, you want to be perpendicular with the tube. You don't want to be this way or this way. You want to be perpendicular. And with an awl, it's hard for me to do this.
I know.
So I'm gonna poke my holes first. I'm sorry, but I've got.
No, you're good. You just. I'm still over here. It's okay.
Okay. So I'm just gonna go at a 45-degree angle or thereabouts, and the trick is to try and your awl wants to hit that line that you described on that butt cap. Remember to stay perpendicular.
Tony's working on a fresh camera angle here, so we can maybe get a.
It's gonna be fresh to death.
There, look at that. That's
All
okay.
right.
There we
All
go.
right.
You're in business, Denny. Would you just? You guys missed a fun sing-along right before we got started here today with the whole room. We were having a good time. Right after Tony got done strongly speaking with a person.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna think I'm a jerk all the time.
Well,
not all the time.
yeah.
Yeah, I have to sleep sometimes.
Yeah, when he was eating a while ago, he wasn't saying a word.
Just like my cooking show, huh?
Yeah.
He's never gonna let that go, Denny.
Be sure and keep your awl at the same angle with every hole that you poke, because that's the key to using a diamond shaped awl, is keeping your awl at the same angle.
And I see you got your thumb there. You're kind of guiding it in.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And I'm also, you can see when your awl is just about to come all the way through, you can see where it's going to come through at. And if you're wrong, you can back it out and reposition it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, couple questions here, Danny. I'm just going to ask them since I didn't put up my sound panel.
All right.
Would a speedy stitcher work for punching the holes like that, or do I need to get a stitching awl? Would it be better?
It will be much better with the stitching awl.
Would this construction work well for making a pool cue case?
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. This, all the things we do, we're trying to teach you guys basic techniques, and this is just how to cover a tube of any sort.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen drafting tubes. Draftsmen used to carry their blueprints around in a long tube. You know, pool cue cases are basically the same type of construction.
Is the sound getting any better for anybody?
Is it getting any worse?
That's the question.
How would one make the interior for the two halves of a pool cue? So say you wanted your bottom and your top of your stick separated, maybe?
I've just seen, so like a lot of times pull cue cases will be kind of an oblong shape. And then you'll have, like just suede or thin leather covered PVC pipes inside. And you'll have, kind of like maybe two wider tubes going down and then two smaller tubes. So like if you wanted like to carry two pull cues that come apart, or if you have, well, I don't know how many pieces pull cues come in. Usually just two, right?
I think.
I don't know.
Depends on if you had a bad shot or not.
Exactly, yeah. So you'll have two wider ones for the butt end of your case, and then you'll have two smaller pipes that you would just line with either a velvet fabric or leather, like a thin suede or something.
We have that crushed velvet, don't we?
Yeah, we do. That would be pretty cool.
I remember taking pictures of it. I really like the pictures I took.
Yeah, because they're all swirly.
I
Like
know.
crunched it up in the middle, and you had this fun velvety swirl. But yeah.
All right, folks. I've gotten all the way around. So now, and it doesn't matter where you start this, but I'm not going to start right on this seam. I'm going to start out here. But I'm just using 2 needles doing a saddle stitch on it, basically. found the center of my thread there.
Oh, in the middle of your tube. Look how good that looks.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You guys can see that, can't you?
And he's just using that natural sinew again, just like we did last week.
Yeah.
It's still good.
I know, but not really close.
This, if you poked your holes pretty symmetrically, you'll get a pretty good looking stitch out of this. People think this French box stitch is pretty hard, but it's not.
You just got to practice just making that all go through, same angle, coming out where you want it.
Right.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Don't rush it.
Yeah, and draw your, scribe your guidelines on there and go by those. And remember, I was telling you that you can kind of see where that all's going to come out. And if you pay attention to that, you'll get a pretty good line out of it. But as everything else, nothing is perfect. Just tell everyone it is. Say, I did a perfect job on this. As you can see, don't look too close. I like this artificial sinew because you can, if you don't use too big an awl, you can really get your stitches pulled up nice and snug.
Yeah.
The way it's waxed and the flat thread, it actually doesn't look flat when you stitch, but it makes your stitches lay nicely. There were last week there was a fella that wrote in asking if I was familiar with a certain kind of fly rod, and I had never heard of it. And he came in the store a little later. You were out there, weren't you?
Not for him, but I did meet Chad from
Jasper. Yeah, Jasper.
From Jasper. Yeah.
But two people that had watched our video last week were in the store that same day.
I know. We had local fans.
Yeah.
Was it a pretty cool rod?
Yeah, and one of the questions was, how long is a fly rod? Or who asked that? Did you?
Me, I did, just now.
That one was 12 feet long.
That's crazy.
It would reach clear across his room.
What kind of fish do you catch with that?
He said it was developed in Japan, and they wanted to catch just a certain size fish out of this one creek, or small river, I guess you would call it. But they didn't want one fish that was bigger or smaller, because the one that they wanted fit perfectly in their pan. I guess they were Japanese monks.
Okay.
Of some sort.
Well, of course.
But they fit perfectly in this pan, so they developed this fishing rod, and I don't see how they caught just one size fish with it, but that was the reason for it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's really neat. It must have been a really special fish to have, or maybe the pan was really special, and it was just a coincidence that particular fish fit in it.
Might have been the only pan they had.
We'll have to look that up. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I have the name of it on my phone. I took a picture of it. I forget what the name of it was now.
Well, I wonder what you fish for here with that rod.
I don't know. There's no reel on it, so you really don't cast it. You just
plop it.
Yeah, just plop it. Only with a fly is really light, so it wouldn't plop. It would just kind of go flutter.
So it's 12 feet long, and then how much, did he tell you how much, like...
The line was about as long as the rod was, so there was about 12 feet of line on it.
So yeah, you really just kind of plop it in there.
Yeah, you just fish 12 feet from yourself. I guess.
I need to look this up. I'm sure there's YouTube videos about these monks somewhere.
Yeah.
Doing this fishing.
But he bought it in the U.S. somewhere and some Japanese lady was making these rods, and she also tied a special fly that they used.
Well, of course.
When you're fishing for just one specific fish, you got to be pretty specific, I guess.
Tenkara.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Tenkara. Is he watching today?
I have no idea.
I bet he is.
If you are, say hi. We're getting there.
A little over halfway around here.
Sorry, I'm messing with the audio. I'm not looking at the cameras.
Here. Well, that's perfect because Denny's just still doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Look over there.
What?
I switched cameras.
Ooh.
And the answer to your question, then is yes.
All right. I've seen his name, for quite a while. I'd always wondered what this fella was, but now I've seen him in person.
Was he
Really happened.
So, Denny, I noticed that as you stitch, you have not once nicked the thread that you're going through with the needle of the second thread. And I struggle, a lot of times I'll try to pull my first one all the way through and then I'll put my next one in because I'll split my thread a lot as I'm doing that. Or at least I struggle with that if I'm not. So how do you prevent
Everyone
that?
does it. Okay, watch me. Well, you cut me at a bad spot. I'm going across this seam, but that's all right. All right. I'm pulling this thread just out a little ways.
Right.
Correct? Sticking my other needle through. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to pull that first thread. And it was actually stabbed through this one, but I pulled it and it pulled it off that needle.
So you need to pull it out enough to be able to pull it back through.
Right.
A little bit.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
so you do split the thread sometimes, but you fix it.
In fact, on this artificial sinew, I do pretty regularly split the thread. Here, I have right there.
You sure did.
See that?
Okay.
I don't know if you can all...
Where are you going? Where are you going?
I don't know.
Here, we'll go to the top one. That'll be easy.
There we go.
I don't know if you can see that or not, but that needle is actually stuck through the thread.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but now let's go back down here where we were.
Tony.
Okay,
I
now,
was reading comments to see if
now
I
I'm
could
just
catch
gonna-
up with questions.
I want to take this one thread that I just went through part way, and I'm going to pull it, and it pulled it off that needle. So now I'm not stabbed through there anymore.
Oh my God. See, these little things.
Yeah, and you do that with every stitch.
Yeah.
If you'll notice, that's the way I do it every time.
I didn't realize that you were pulling down on that other one
Yeah.
to pull the needle through.
Yeah, I just did that.
So what would be the problem, we have a question, with splitting the thread?
Well, it's...
You can't go any further.
Yeah. Because you split the thread, so then you're in a weird, like, you can't pull it tight because you have you're going through your thread.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
You've ruined the thread. You have to cut it off and start over right there at that point.
Yeah. So you don't, I mean, it doesn't work. But half the time, and then I have to pull everything back out because, so for me, sometimes I won't know until I've pulled all of my thread through until I hit that point, and then it won't, I can't pull the stitch through any farther because it's looped through my thread.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm back to square one, back to the first hole, and I'm going to overstitch, or I'm going to overstitch one or two stitches here.
Get a good lock stitch up in there.
Yeah, one will be enough, but I'm going to do two. Depends on how hard it is for me to pull this through.
Did you bring your pliers?
No.
He's got it. Got his seasoned stitching fingers.
Okay, I'm just going to go through with one needle here for the final.
Because we want both of our things on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm going to take my handy French edger. Pull this one thread tight. Trim that off. There you don't even need to use a thread burner on it.
Nope. And that wax isn't going anywhere. That stitch is locked. Good to go.
And it's a pretty good looking stitch. You can also, if your stitches don't look beautiful, you can take your overstitch wheel.
Oh, hang on. Don't do that yet. That's good stuff. We got to get it. 1 second.
This is good technique stuff.
Yeah.
There we go.
Carry on.
Okay. You can take your overstitch wheel and go right over. You start in one of the holes and just under pressure, just go right over that, and it kind of lines your stitches out, kind of straightens everything out.
Well, isn't that why it's called an overstitch wheel?
Yes, exactly.
Because it's supposed to go over the stitches?
Yes.
And it kind of seats them.
Yes, seat. That's the word I was looking for.
I always think about Kevin doing that video, the lacing video, and then he seats his lace when he hammers it down. And it kind of rounds it out because it's got that little arch on the inside, so it kind of rounds out that stitch. And makes it look okay.
And it also...
Ooh, yeah, that's a good shot. Pivot.
And also, what does the end look like? That's not too bad. Your end just, it's not going to come out as perfect as the outside because you eyeballed it, but this isn't bad. I'm going to take this rub stick and kind of rub over it, and that'll seat those stitches. You can't use, if you try to use your overstitch wheel on this,
you're going to mark it up.
Yeah, because your stitches aren't going to be exactly the same.
They're actually, should be a little bit shorter.
Yeah, they will be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because of math.
Yes.
Geometry.
Laws of physics will prevail right there. Okay, now we're done with our end cap, or with our butt cap. Now we're going to make our end cap, which is going to be just like this here. And it's just going to be a tube, just like we did. Only I'm going to use a heavier piece of leather. I've got a piece of probably 11 or 12 ounce leather here. And because I want it to have a lot of body. You know, it's not going to have the PVC tube on the inside.
Can we see that, where the PVC is on the inside? Are we able to see that part?
I don't think so, because we folded our cap end on the end.
Oh, you can see it a little bit there.
Yeah, you can see it a little bit. Yeah. But this will actually be larger because it's got to go around the outside of this circumference. But I'm going to wet this just a little bit. I got a bucket of water here. It's really special water. It's clear.
That's exciting.
I'm going to let that temper for just a second here.
All right, Denny, we've got a riddle for you. What gets bigger the more you take away from it? I'm always really bad at these riddles, so...
I'm completely confused. I don't know.
John, help us out. What gets bigger the more you take away from it?
I don't know.
I'm sure it's really obvious.
Oh, yeah, it's simple, right? That's why we can figure it out.
And then
cutting a little bit of this off.
Little Fear asked where you can get a logo stamp. We actually, you can purchase one through us if you would like. You just call up one of our sales reps. We just need whatever JPEG image you want or vector image. It really needs to be black and white. Color does not come out on stamps. You got 2 dimensions, so you have black and white. You can email us your logo, or if you're wanting something really simple, just like an oval with your name in it and maker, or what, like just simple text with a border, just
Like
give us a
this.
call. Like this. Just a oval stamp with some info in it. You can just give us a call and we can send you a proof. They're $60 to $70, I believe, depending on what size you want. And then you can get bigger ones made. It's just harder to stamp. So I think our regular is like 1.16" square is your maximum size, but it can be whatever size it fits on 1.16" square. Is like the $60 one, and then 1 3/8 by 1.5 is the larger size. If your image fits on that size rectangle, it's 70. When you start going a lot larger than that, it gets harder and harder to stamp with the hefty handle. And just get a really clear image, but we can do whatever size you want. And if you've got a press, then you can do, whatever image, and it'll just be a custom quote. So give us a call.
Okay, now I've got this damp. I've got it. This isn't to exact size, but I didn't want it to exact size. I'm just going to kind of cramp this, twist it a little bit. Do the same thing over here.
Split beam Terry is your Tenkara rod.
Oh yeah, Terry.
Split beam Terry. Terry wants to know if you have bought your Tenkara.
No, I have not.
He's on Twitch.
Ooh, he's one of our fancy streamers.
All of our streamers are fancy. They just get more little doodads and gizmos on their stream.
My husband is familiar with all of these things. I have no idea what's happening.
Okay.
I'm not techie, so.
Now I've just taken these candle pliers and I've crimped this piece. That's the way I've sized it. I'm just crimping it on the tube itself.
And you're putting that crimp over your seam.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I'm right at the seam here. Because I want the seams to pretty much match up when I close the case.
So, Denny, the answer to what gets bigger as you take things away is a hole.
A hole!
So
Why didn't we think of that?
I told you it was going to be easy.
And I didn't bring any
We're not
cement.
that clever.
I did not bring any cement with me.
Do you need some?
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Okay. We do have a little bit of Renia. You want to use that?
Sure.
Okay.
I haven't. Oh yeah.
That works really well. Every time we use it, we're like, this stuff is amazing. And then we forget to use it. Yeah, it's going to be great.
You see those go back behind you Stacey's been working on? Look at that one that's behind you, Liz. It says the one below it.
Oh, hey, there's a new one. It says M6M.
I know, but
It almost says mom.
I like to think that it says mom.
That is a 6.
Okay. And you guys, what's the key to this?
It's contact cement.
Huh?
It's contact cement.
Don't spill it. That's the key.
I remember the one and
Yeah,
only
this
time
is a-
I used this, I squirted it about 45
Here, wait.
feet.
Wait. Here you go.
Silicone brush on its way.
Oh, great job.
Now both surfaces.
You can
Yep.
can do one, but you put it on wet. If you do it on both, then you wait for it dry like a normal contact. This is according to Renia's.
So this is the Quillam, right? The 315?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I've done that. I better close that because you know me and open bottles.
That's right.
Let me see. Got our handy.
Sorry.
We got our handy hair dryer here.
It's real quiet. It's been quiet for us today.
There.
You know what I forgot?
No.
I forgot to make the 45-degree corners,
Oh.
which is very important.
Well, we remembered
Yes.
it just in time.
It's the whole deal here. All right. To do this, I'm just going to use a French edger. Like this. Can we get kind of a close-up picture?
Yep. As long as you just stay right there for a second, let me walk here. This your camera.
Okay.
So
you're up and down and everywhere.
yeah,
Today.
James.
Oh, sorry, will you go over the glue one more time? The Renia Aquilum 315, and I will post a link in there.
So just like Tony said, so we are using the Renia Aquilum, whatever you want to call it, 315 contact cement. It's a water base, so that your smell is a lot lower as far as that goes. And
If I remember right,
It's-
it stuck really
yeah,
good.
it's a
too.
good one. We use it to glue those stones down, and they didn't move. So I was really impressed with that.
All right.
Okay.
Now we're back in business here. And I'm going to, I say a 45-degree angle. It's 45 more or less. Just your rendition of 45 degrees.
Now, because this piece is so thick, Denny, is it easier to do this when it is wet?
Oh, I almost always, on a vegetable tan leather, if I'm doing something like this, it'll always be wet.
Okay.
I mean, no matter how sharp your tool is, especially a good firm piece of Herman oak or something,
Yeah.
it's hard to do this unless it's wet.
Yeah.
When it's wet, it softens the leather a bit. Okay.
And are you going to leave that piece non-beveled?
Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't matter.
We're gonna drink our coffee together.
Oh, the twofer. Come on in here.
Can you see me?
Nope.
Look at mine. It has Dolly on it.
Get under Denny's beard.
I peeked.
We saw her cup. That's all that matters.
Okay. Now, let's put this back on here. Make my two edges match up as well as I can.
Dan asked when we were going to upgrade to a heat gun.
You can use, Dan, you can use a heat gun on this, but you have to be tremendously careful because you can cook the leather with it.
Real quick.
Yeah, you just need the
You'll-
air movement. It's not necessarily the heat
Yeah,
that's drying
right.
it. You just need the air movement.
So saying that part, that the air movement, do you hold down a button for cool or medium air,
No.
or you just blow?
No, a hairdryer generally doesn't get hot enough to bother the leather.
Just
Especially
blow
not the
some
cheap
hot
ones.
air.
The cheap Conair ones that we
Kind
buy.
Let me just talk to it just a little bit. That'll get your glue ready.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to use this overstitch wheel and mark myself a stitch line. Or two.
That'll get there.
Okay. Then I'm going to take my awl, and just like I did on that butt cap, I'm going to poke my holes. Now this, you need your awl good and sharp, so strop it up good before you ever start.
Yeah, you're going through quite a bit of leather there.
Yeah.
It's not like on your other one where you had like 4 to 5 ounce or 5 to 6 or whatever it was.
Yeah, 5/6 I think is what we use on this. Yes.
Tony's having to
Tony.
do lots of extra camera work today.
Well, Tony,
Yes, Denny? As soon as I get back over to my desk, he's going to move it to a different position.
yeah, on purpose.
No need to spend your channel points on Denny burns today. They are prevalent.
Denny, as you struggle with your awl, do you want to tell James when the next classes are going to be?
I have classes basically every Saturday.
I was say you're doing them.
Tooling classes.
Yeah.
This coming Saturday, which is what's the date? Which is the
Friday.
21st. Tomorrow will be a novice class, and I think
You can call later and we'll verify
Yeah.
if you're
But
interested.
anyway, every other week I have a novice, and then the other week I have a intermediate to advanced class.
So just give us the call. We'll get you with Denny, and we can, if you want to plan to either make a trip or come in, Denny will get you on his schedule.
Yeah.
What do the classes run?
Classes are $80.
Okay.
They start at 9 in the morning and run till about 5. Generally take an hour in the middle of the day for lunch.
So it is a full day of tooling.
Yeah, and people, say, can I get my grandson in there or my granddaughter? and I don't mind a bit, but generally they don't have enough.
Stamina.
Well, they can't concentrate that long.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, maybe if you got like a older grandchild, like
Yeah.
15, 16.
Yeah.
Older
That's fine,
teens
but,
is going to
but
be okay.
small kids like grade school children,
Yeah.
you know, they just it's just
I
not
have
a
problems
good thing.
keeping their attention for a half an hour when I do my classes on stamping at the end of the year for like the whatever school I go to
Yeah.
up north. That's about a half an hour is about as much stamping as they want to do in their middle school.
Chevy Guy asked, are all the classes the same? Are all the novice classes the same? And then when you do your intermediate classes, are they all the same?
By the same, you mean do we do the
If
same?
I signed up for a novice class and we did a novice class and I signed up for another novice class, am I going to learn anything different?
You will get better at what you tried to learn to begin with.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, they're all the same. They're all the same. Other than the advanced. I've had people that take one advanced class after another. And, you know, after the first one we do a field notes journal, a pattern that I've drawn. And after that, you know, I try to let them pick a project that they want to do. You know, as long as I have a pattern pre-drawn for it,
Sure.
I will be happy to help them with it.
So in the advanced class, there's a little bit more leeway for them to. You're there to answer questions and to kind of guide, but they could do.
Right. Right, and you know that's what it's about. It's just advancing their skill.
Yeah.
You know, because the whole thing is how to use the tools.
Right.
I mean, people think, well, I got to get that set of tools because I want to do that. But you can have all the tools in the world, but unless you know how to use them, you aren't going to be able to do certain things.
Yeah.
Which all do you have, Denny?
A weird one that Kevin or Rusty found.
Yeah, this is an old custom made awl, but basically.
What, do you usually use a round point, square point,
a diamond point.
Diamond point.
Almost exclusively, yeah.
I don't think there's too many awls that have. I mean, I guess there's like those ice picky, like Osborne makes some round awls, but I wouldn't consider them stitching awls.
Yeah, a round point is generally for fabric because you dig in between the weaves. And
so all those weird yellow handled Osborne round ice pick looking awls, what are those for?
Oh, those are spikes, basically.
Okay.
They're just, what do they call them?
Scratch awl.
Scratch awl, yeah. They're just generally to bulldoze a hole in something or to use as a scribe.
Okay. So maybe not necessarily a hole, but just to use as a pointy object.
Right.
Here we go, moving the...
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You do your thing.
You still have me.
Tony will do his thing.
Yeah.
You do your thing.
Denny, I know now that you're getting that situated, you and I have talked about this a little bit. When can we expect to do the online classes or the Zoom classes where they pay their amount and I send them the link? When can we expect that?
Sometimes
That's the third time you've thrown that shot at me today.
that eye shot.
Yes, the Denny scowl.
That wasn't a scowl. That was a what in the heck are you talking about? That was a how should I know?
That was how close we're getting your room set up over there for classroom.
Okay, you confused me here. I've still got one piece of equipment I need to get moved so we can actually set up our classroom well enough to do something like that. I would say any time as soon as that's done.
Rusty, we need a clicker move.
We're working on it. We talked about it yesterday.
I know we did.
You were there.
I was there. Was I listening at that point?
Were you there? You came a little late to the party.
I came right behind you.
Was Chad the latest?
No, I was the latest. I fill up my water. I didn't even get to eat lunch yesterday.
Don't complain.
I wasn't. It was informative. Look, if you only do angry talk to you, Liz.
Angry talk.
Chevy Guy gifting out subs here. He just resubscribed on Twitch for the next 2
Ooh.
months and gifted out some tier 1.
Thanks, Chevy guy.
Stacy's Lost, Chug, Till, and Lago. Nice. Oh, we're buying, Chevy guy says lunch is on him today for that subscription. That was what he wanted to do. He's been saying he wanted to buy us lunch, so that's how he can do it.
That's so nice.
Thank you very
Denny,
much.
how do you determine what size edger for the weight thickness of leather project you're working on? Is there a rule of thumb, percentage of curve that you want on the edge?
Do you need a clamp?
No, I don't need one as soon as I get started here.
Oh.
Actually, probably anything.
Are you going to burnish that edge later?
Yeah, I'll trim it later.
The bottom one?
This one?
No, this one.
This one. I guess I probably ought to do it now.
I don't know.
I'll tell you
got
what.
We've got the edge master over here, so
I'm going to make a brand new thread here.
And he's struggling right now.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I don't multitask well.
Tony really threw him off with that class question.
Hey, I'm
Okay,
trying to
this is
multitask all
a
day
number
long.
2 edger here. And this is a 10 to 12 ounce leather. Number 2 makes a pretty nice edge. Maybe a number 3 would be better.
This thread is stuck on here.
Yeah, let's try this. Yeah, this is just a little more edge. Probably a number 3 on this would be good. Anything less than this, it go down to a number 2. If you're doing real thin leather, which is very hard to bevel an edge on, you can go down to a number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But that's, I've got a size ought, but you've got to be.
Well, even
the leather needs to be pretty firm to be able to hit that.
I was like, even our new bevelers, our fancy ones that we brought in, man, that size 1 and even the size 2, they're little.
Yeah,
they're pretty fine edgers.
Yeah. And those aren't numbered the same as a lot of our American-made edgers are. They're numbered a little bit different.
I know when we talked about it, we were doing that skirting for those stirrup strap, stirrup that we had to repair on my daughter's feathers.
Yeah.
And we did a number 3 on it because it was that saddle skirting. Do a little piece of it, and some of it's just preference of what you like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. They'll call up and be like, what beveler should I use for this thing? And I'm like, well, how beveled do you want your edge?
Yeah, right.
Like, do you just want to take off that 90-degree corner and still leave it pretty square? Do you have a really thick piece that you would like to round? Like, a lot of it is just preference for how you want your edge to look. So,
yeah, the deal is the heavier the leather, the bigger the stitcher or edger that you need to use.
Yeah.
If you've got a real thick piece, like say welt on a knife sheath or a gun holster, and it's pretty thick, you want to use a pretty good size edger, a 3 or maybe even a 4, because you don't want that edge to look thick and clunky.
right.
You want it to look nice and round. And
You know what I like to do sometimes, depending on how thick my welt is? Sometimes I will skive down my welt from the inside of the sheath to the outside, so that then my edge and my stitch is a lot. So like if your knife is pretty thick up at the top, sometimes you'll need a pretty hefty, thick welt on the inside where the knife actually goes. But whenever you get to the edge, you don't still need all that thickness.
Yeah.
So you can kind of wedge out your welt so that it's not as thick all the way through, and then that makes it easier to stitch.
when I was in Wyoming, and we built a lot of gun holsters there, and we would always skive those down to almost a feather edge on the very outside.
Oh yeah.
And it because you were using heavy leather to begin with, even on the holster, so you still have 2 pieces of 10 or 12 ounce leather coming together,
Right.
even when that edge is skived to 0.
Right. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it makes stuff nicer when you do stuff like that, but it's not always necessary.
But it sure does make sewing easier.
Yeah.
Man, when you start trying to sew through 16, 20, 24 ounces of leather all at once, and you get to the point where your awl doesn't go through all of the layers anymore because they're so thick, that's no fun for anybody.
All right. Cutting the wet leather. Does that go for skiving also?
Yes.
For
Yes.
instance, using a safety beveler.
Yeah. That will work well if it's wet. The thing about when the leather is wet, it's soft. So you just have to be careful, and it will stretch to a certain extent. So you have to be aware of that. You know, I generally like to do my skiving before I cut anything to exact size, simply because it's going to
stretch it out.
Let's see if I can do it. Dan said also called a fid. One of the other things we were talking about. We were talking about
A fid is a tool generally used to lace with, and it's used to enlarge holes or to.
I guess you could try to use it like all. It might be a little.
It's going to be big. Like the lacing fid that we sell is.
Yeah, it won't be sharp enough to do what we're talking about.
Is that glue still sticking?
No, but that's all right.
No.
That's all right. I'm going to stitch it together.
What if we do that?
Ooh, that's fancy. I like that. You got both angles.
All at once. I'm just trying new things over here. Just say whether you like it or not.
That's what I told Chris last night whenever you messaged me that you'd figured out another new adjustment that we can make on the live shopping. And I was like, Tony is just really, every video, he discovers like one new fun thing that he can add or alter.
We had a question. Eric asked a question about our SLC Pro beveler to a Palo Santo beveler. Have you ever used a Palo Santo? Stacy, do you have one? Stacy, can you take your headphones out? Stacy? Palo Santo. Have you ever used a Palo Santo beveler?
I have not.
Have you seen them where you could compare them to the SLC Pro beveler?
What do you mean by like look?
No, the SLC Pro beveler and the Osborne ones aren't really close. A 1 and a 1 between those aren't close. But a 1 and a 1 compared to a Palo Santo, I would say they're closer.
I almost feel like it's a metric measurement because man, this one that's probably a millimeter. Do I have a ruler?
Just keep spinning in circles. You might find one.
Hush.
Well, I don't even have the other camera on, so you can't even see you spinning in circles.
That is a 1 millimeter. So our Pro bevelers, like the number one, it's a 1 millimeter. Where our common edger, a number 1 is, I don't know really what that refers to.
I don't think Denny has one here to measure.
Yeah.
You have this Osborne 133, and this is a number 1, but it's like a millimeter and a half.
Eric and I were talking last night on Discord, brainstorming, and then I logged into my computer last night on my phone. I logged in my desktop and messed with it to see if I could get it to work, and it did.
So this number 3, just our common edger. That's just our, like if we're doing millimeters, it's 1.5 millimeters is the width of the blade, and it's a 3. So, who knows?
Uh-oh, Dan, we've noticed that your copper bracelet is missing. Judith asked, where is it? He's always wearing one.
I don't know. It's hot weather.
He's getting a little sweaty. He was turning a little green.
Yeah, turning very green.
That's the problem with those copper bracelets.
So Latigo says the Palo Santo number 1 is 0.77 millimeters. So I mean we're talking 0.3 millimeters, and millimeters are pretty small anyway. And then you go to a 0.3.
They're pretty small.
I don't think that it works that way for everything. That a number 2 would be a 2 millimeter. Did you measure
Oh,
number
you know
2?
what? I did not, but I have all of them, so I can do that.
I know. The first set came in and we stole them back here.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. So, good gracious.
Liz, her skirt is like a terry cloth fabric.
It's very comfortable.
Little Fear says you got sweatpants on today.
That's what somebody else said the other day. They're like, you have sweatpants with a tie, but no, it's not.
Those definitely aren't sweatpants.
It's a sweatpants skirt.
A sweat skirt?
A sweat skirt.
Let's go with the terry cloth skirt. Denny, you're moving out of both frames at one time.
All right, good. Because I didn't want anyone to see that mess.
Like the number 2 is just over a millimeter. These really don't change that much. The number 3 looks like it's still just a little bit, maybe almost 1.5 millimeters, but probably not quite. And then honestly, I'm really not sure exactly where my measurement is.
Your duckbills are Osborne, right?
Yes. These are what we call candle pliers.
I know. I think on the website we call them duckbill.
Duckbill candle pliers, probably. I think it's
it's probably like Osborne, duckbill, smooth.
comma.
All
Because it's an
right.
old item that we haven't adjusted.
All right.
Because I'm busy messing with cameras instead.
Now, I'm going to trim this.
So between the 1, which might be slightly smaller than 1 millimeter, and then up to the 5, looks like the number 5 is right at 2 millimeters wide. So between these 5 tools, you go from just under 1 millimeter in cutting on your bevel to right around 2-ish. So not a lot of variation there.
A lot of people really liked your new workspace, Denny.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah, you did that little video the other day. That was good.
And everyone just loves it. They're jealous of your workspace.
You did a video of my workspace?
I did.
She walked over there and she filmed everything.
Remember when you were drawing and you're like,
Oh,
no
yeah.
one's gonna see my scribble.
Yeah.
But it's like a beautiful drawing.
I thought I brought a big header over here. Did I not? Folks, talk amongst yourselves for a minute.
Well, we'll
Run.
run through some other questions. And I can run down the list. I read it to Twitch the other day, so they kind of know what videos are coming.
Yeah, we have a schedule.
But I want to ask a couple of these other questions.
Okay.
Robert Guy on YouTube says, I'm seeing more and more decorative lacing down the center of belts nowadays. Is it possible that you guys could do a video on different types of decorative lacing or stitching?
We have a bunch of pictures whenever we did those 2-hole belts when we released those. I think Denny did a whole bunch. He probably actually still has them hanging up, or they might be on retail, of just a whole bunch of ways that you could.
Why don't we do an
Use
updated video since we do them live now?
Yeah, we could do that.
And that was probably eons old.
Probably.
Let's see. Also, I've seen
We could do like a post of a picture though.
I've seen
in
other
the
guys,
meantime.
other videos, so doing a stitch, like a normal saddle stitch, but then running another
Mm-hmm.
different.
I was actually just talking to Jeff about that this morning, where you do like a figure 8 with one color thread, and then you just saddle stitch, and then before you pull your saddle stitch up, then you're making that figure 8 with the other color on the top, and it looks pretty cool.
So we can probably look up some or get some decorative stitching books and do a decorative stitching one.
Good. It'll be in November though, because that's where we're scheduled out to.
I know. What's a good rule of thumb when purchasing John James needle? John Jacob.
Honestly, they're really cheap. And so, like, I would buy a 10-pack of all 3 sizes.
Yeah.
And then, whatever you're doing, if you've got a small project where you need the single aught, then, you can use that with your 0.8 millimeter. If you are doing a medium-sized project, then you can use the double aught. Or if you have some crazy hefty thing, or even with this video, I feel like it's pretty decent size, so I would use a
depends
triple.
on the thread size and the awl size
Yeah.
that you're using. If you're using a small thread and a small awl,
Yeah.
use the
But
size aught.
It's like $3.50 for a 10-pack.
Yeah.
So I would buy one of each, and then you have whatever you need for whatever project you're doing. That
So
would be my suggestion.
You remember the video we were doing?
What's the fun sound?
Which video we were doing?
We were doing.
Hey,
the
Denny, do you want to
ostrich
work
crafts.
over here?
I guess.
Okay, that'd be fun.
Show people then too. But we sent the rest of the scrap that we had to Chevy Guy.
Oh, okay.
And he made something out of it. I'm going to put it on the screen here in a
What?
second. What else do we have here? He said that. What's the email address to send pictures of the stamp you guys made for me? If you, D&D, are you on Facebook? If you're not on Facebook, you can send it to Anthony@springfieldleather.com.
Okay. Back to what we're doing.
Go ahead.
Okay, I've got the tube part done. Now I'm going to cut the cap, and it needs to be approximately, I'm going from outside dimensions here, approximately a 2.5 inch circle. So, wherever I put this, I'm going to go to 1 1/4. My handy new dividers here. I love these little things. And I'm just going to use about the same type of leather, about the same weight of leather. I'm making myself a 2.5 inch circle. And I'm also going to wet it a little bit. Vegetable tan leather is always easier to cut if it's a little bit wet. Get as close to that mark as I can. Y'all don't have to use a round knife. Got it. 2.5 inch circle die. You can use that.
Which is, if Denny, well, I don't know, you'd probably still cut it because you'd just be at your bench.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's not hard to cut though, because there again, perfection's hard to reach. I don't worry about it too much. Okay, now I'm going to cut this. I'm
There
going
we
to
go.
do the same 45 degrees. Close as I can.
Yeah, it would be really hard to cut that if it wasn't wet.
Yeah, it wouldn't want to sky nearly as nice.
And you do want to make sure that your surface, especially, if you're not tooling on it and you want to have a nice clean surface, that this is really clean whenever you're skiving, because you're pushing down on everything. And if you've got a bunch of little leather dust or particles on here, you're going to be marring up the wet surface of your leather as you push it into it.
Or if I tried to do it on this.
Yep. You're going to get all those little bumpies in your leather. So.
All right, let's see
Don't do
how close we came. Can't do it with that though.
How do we do with that? Oh, man.
I think that's going to be just about perfect. See how nice that fits?
Can we see the inside? Can you see the little chamfer? Oh, look at that.
Yeah. They match pretty well.
They do.
You know, leather's a pretty forgiving product. Okay, one more thing before I stitch this on. This strap is going to come across the top. Something like this. So I'm going to have to make a keeper up there.
Just going to put this little extra piece of leather.
Yeah. We call it a tunnel loop, but
A tunnel loop.
yeah, because it's just what I'm going to use is just this piece of 5/6 ounce leather, that just like I used there. But I'm going to cut it off.
People say they get worried when you use a round knife, or seeing other people use the round knife, that they're going to cut their fingers. You seen anybody ever damage yourself?
No, I really haven't.
No?
I'm sure it can happen.
I bet you it can happen. Those things, you keep yours sharp enough, I mean, it'll come right off.
Sharp is better than dull.
That's right.
Because
The
you're not pushing as hard.
minute your knife rides out on top of the leather, that's when you're going to hurt yourself.
Hold on, Denny. Don't look at me like that. Carry on.
Okay. I'm just going to edge the top edge of this on both sides a little ways.
Let's do it.
Now I'm going to just make myself a thumbnail mark there. Cut this off. You'll notice I'm just a bit wide, but that's good because I want this to kind of buckle up a little bit. I'm going to bevel those edges.
I would almost round them off to the edge and then just finish it all at once. I don't know.
You could. Probably could. You want me to?
I don't know if you want to.
I
And then
will.
you
I
can
will.
just sew it in.
Just for you. I
Oh,
will.
thanks. He's going to cut a new one.
Now I'll just bevel a little more here.
Then let's see. Oh, I have no idea, Wayne. Wayne was saying he was on break during the sale. While we were on a break yesterday during the sale, at the beginning, there was a piece of leather that was printed black and blue on the back side.
Ooh, yeah.
Did we have any more of that?
Nope. We opened up a bundle and there was like 5 different colors and that was the coolest one.
There is a palette of what it was over there. Or no, some other rolls. I'll look and see if I can find any. I don't know if there is. We can try.
Yeah.
Denny needs to do a round knife class.
Well, I need to do a
Well,
lot
so
of stuff.
actually next week we will be on Friday we're going to be talking about skiving. So I'm sure the round knife will have its place in there.
Yeah.
But you did. Oh man, this is years ago. Kevin and Denny did a class or a video that we posted. Man, it's been a while. It was out on the retail floor, just about using the round knife, sharpening the round knife. So if you search back through our video log from a couple of years ago, there is one kind of just talking about using a head knife.
We also did, it was Clayton and Denny. It was when we were doing recorded videos. We did one on what's the deal with skirting leather.
Okay.
And we talked about the round knife and that quite a bit as well.
I mean, pretty much every video that Denny's in, there's a round knife in it, and he is doing things with it.
With it.
So just watch everything, and you'll learn little things everywhere.
All right.
Thanks for accommodating my request.
You're welcome. It's not done yet. Okay, we're going to go through the same process. I'm going to scribe a line, a stitch line. I'm going to start up here. I'm going to trim that off just a little bit.
I'm having a lot of fun twisting up this sinew into a weird looking rope.
Now.
It's a sinew rope. Denny, you're supposed to give me something to do during these.
I did. I gave you something to play with.
The SLC Pro bevelers do come in all 5 sizes if you want to buy the set together.
Yep, I think it's like $125 wholesale, $140 or something retail.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
I'll tell you what, it's a very worthwhile set.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
It's a great set, and the one that we have that we keep using back there, we haven't touched anything of polishing them back up or anything. We just pulled them out and started using them.
Yeah.
Why didn't I get the cement when I was there?
I don't know.
I don't either.
What tools could you not live without? Oh my gosh. Can you guys hear this out there?
They're doing some yard work in the alley.
I think they're blowing dust out of computers.
Oh, that is a vacuum, isn't it?
Okay. They can't hear them sound, so
Okay.
I'll leave it be.
Okay, tools I couldn't do without. I use
A head knife.
my head knife on a daily basis. I use edge bevelers on a daily basis. I use
Your awl.
awls on a daily basis. Overstitch wheels. What else do I use?
I mean, Denny, you guys, if you did see that video that we posted the other day, he's got a lot of tools on that wall, but
I've got a lot of
he uses a lot of them.
Yeah, but I've got to tell you something. I didn't always have those tools. When I started out, I just used what I had, which was very little, and I made it work, which you guys can do too. But I've spent 40 years
accumulating
a set of tools, and when I get one, it helps me, but I don't have it simply because I had to have it to do my job.
Yeah.
I mean, old Bob McCrae, the first guy that showed me how to build saddles, he always talked about a pocket knife saddle maker. You know, you can do a lot of things with just a knife.
Yeah.
A knife and a claw hammer and a screwdriver.
Denny's outfit a lot of probably screwdrivers into whatever he needed at the time.
Yeah, I make. We were talking about those ticklers the other day. You know, I made ticklers out of a screwdriver. There's so many things you can do. You know that you don't. Oh gosh.
Razor Blades is in Australia, and he says, "Finally, my winter fat is starting to go away. They're about to become spring rolls." Tim is always good for a laugh.
That's a pretty good one.
These small wing dividers, we don't carry them.
Nope, but you can buy them on Amazon for like $75.
Yeah.
So, and we know that because we just had to buy Denny a new pair because somebody broke one of the tips off of his.
And then hid them.
And then, anyways. So that happened.
Tony, how can I send you my email address? You can just email me, Wayne. Anthony@Springfield Leather. He asked about that leather, and he's like, "Don't go out of the way to look for it." And I was like, "Well,
that's
I'm
all
gonna
Tony
go look
does.
for it, Wayne.
He's
That's what I do."
There was a lot of, like, we looked at some yellow pieces, but there was, the finish on them was really heavy, and it looks like they kind of stuck to each other, so there was kind of some discoloration on the yellow one, so we didn't actually end up pulling that out. But there was a lot of different colors, but that gray and blue was really pretty cool, which is why we grabbed it.
What would be your suggestion of wing dividers, Denny, that we stock?
Personally, I would buy the Osborne. I believe there's 6-inch length. That's the best all around that I found. We sell a less expensive one, but they don't work as well because the legs will go like this.
Yeah, they're not sturdy.
Yeah, they aren't as firm.
And the ones that you actually have, I think, are like engineering ones.
Yeah, these.
They're Starrett?
Starrett, yeah,
Starrett.
These are a Starrett brand, and they're actually an engineering tool, yes.
Yeah. They're real nice. Denny actually, he had found a large pair of these, like a long pair at some flea market.
Yeah.
So he brought those in. So now this guy has a little partner in crime.
This guy has a father.
Now there's a baby bear and a papa bear.
I've also got a little crippled bear, too.
Short-legged bear.
Maybe you can just grind off that other leg so it now matches the new leg.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
And I will have the 3 bears. All right. Now, if I can find what I did with my awl.
It's right there.
Now I'm going to start to punch my holes
Ooh,
again.
that's a great angle, Tony.
Then you can just stay there.
But you probably can't.
We talked about a tickler. How do you use a tickler?
Tickler is just to accentuate a line that you've drawn.
So I was going to say that wooden, you can use any kind of smooth tool, right? Just
Right.
anything that's smooth.
Yeah, if I had this line here, can you see me?
You go up.
Can you go a little around? Okay, I can just switch to this camera.
Okay, like if I got this line here, and I wanted to make it almost a groove, I would just take this. It's called tickling.
I didn't hear any laughing at all.
Leather is laughing.
No laughing leather.
It's tickled. It giggled.
Got its giggle gut going.
Oh, man. We're odd ducks here.
There's something else. Chad is a drafter, so that's what he uses as well. That's what he has on hand, so that's what he uses.
Very nice. You still physically draft, Chad? Not just digitally draft?
So tickling is more of like creasing.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Great job, Charles Abbott.
But calling it tickling is much more fun.
It is, especially in this room.
It's a legitimate term.
Marcus asks, all the way from Germany, can you stitch it while you're poking the holes to avoid the darn thing from coming apart? Or do you run into problems?
Sure, you can. And there's the blood.
Uh-oh.
Well, this was bled on leather before.
Yeah, but it came off, guys. For those of you that are curious, that Herman Oak heritage leather, which is water resistant, it cleaned right up with some water after we finished. I went to Denny and I was like, uh-oh, Denny. I was like, I bled on this bag and it's a really fancy bag and I need your help. And he just said, well, let's try some water. And sure enough, came right off.
We're trying to figure out how to do the giveaway for that one.
Oh, for the bag.
For
Grabber pins.
W Grabber and some of those pins. We haven't figured out a great giveaway because I want to do something more than just selecting a name. Because that's what, about a $200, $250 bag.
At the least. I mean,
Cheap.
we probably have like $100 in leather in that bag.
Okay, then it's a $300 bag. And I mean, you didn't come with a W Bradburn pin, so that's $400.
It's a fine giveaway. Yeah, we should come up with a.
And it has your DNA on it.
It did. We cleaned it off.
Well, I mean, we can pretend it's still there. That's $500. I'll sell somebody a tote on the wall. I like selling things. I'll sell somebody a tote on the wall. How about $150 for a tote? Stacey, you fine with that?
I don't think he's in here.
He is. He just laughed. He didn't say no. He just laughed. So there we go. Anybody want one of those? Huh?
You need to sell a tote.
Liz, can you van a white a tote?
I sure
Sell
can.
a tote.
Sell a tote.
Right now.
Oh, sure.
Sell
That one right there.
So this one's really fun. Stacey just finished this up
That's
this
my
week.
favorite one.
It's pretty
Nice.
great. So
It's so summery too.
Stacey is obsessed with cork. And he likes to go and find fun cork that we may not carry. So this is a cool piece of this just yellow acid wash cork is what it looks like. This fun blue that Stacey probably found on the $25 side table because he stocks it out front. And then these
stocks it by his desk.
are just Herman Oak leather straps that he dyed with the Fenici yellow dye. So what?
Phoebe's.
Oh, I'm sorry, Phoebe's yellow dye. So that's pretty awesome. Matches that inlay. So this is a lost skeleton tote.
And somebody was asking the other day we should do a video on what you could do with those new patterns, the Southwest.
So this is one of our new Southwest acrylic templates. So Stacey cut out that neat pattern and did the inlay. Which looks pretty nice.
Rusty gives better discounts than I do. Liz is actually the one that prices everything. And
Yeah, I don't let Tony price anything anymore.
Because I was closer to Rusty.
He just gives things away. Moving on.
You've got to make a living, right?
Got to pay for this guy. He's making all $4.50 now.
I got to raise. No, I'm up to 4.
I hope everybody knows that that is truly a joke.
No, it's not, you guys. Look at me.
It's about time for a haircut, wouldn't you say?
For me?
Is there a sewing machine that can make that stitch, or is it just done by hand?
I've heard of a French box foot for a sewing machine, but I've never seen one, and I can't understand how they would work.
There are a lot of really neat sewing machines that are made for the shoe industry. And every once in a while, there'll be some shoe business that like went out and they'll call us and we'll buy some machinery. We'll get it in here. There was a soul stitcher that came in one time. That thing looked like a jukebox. I said it looked like a jukebox. I don't know, have like a fun rounded top. But then it looked like, you know, that fish that lives in the bottom of the ocean with that little light that comes down. He's got those teeth that do this thing. That's what the needle looked like because it has an awl on the bottom that punches the hole. And then the thread comes down from the top and actually does the sole stitch around an edge of your shoe. It stitches the sole. That thing was crazy, and it was pretty darn neat, and Rusty sold it, and I was a little sad, because, not that we would use it here, but I just wanted to look at it.
Just look at it.
Hang out with
It was just, man, old machinery is really neat, especially some of that shoe stuff. So there could be something out there, but it's just so specific, and since a lot of the manufacturing for shoes has moved overseas, there's just not a lot left here in our country unless it's antiques. And we're not really there's a couple shoe manufacturers, but I mean, if you're in Boston, you might be able to find some really cool stuff.
I remember when I first started making saddles, a lot of the catalogs had an actual section, and it was called shoe findings.
Huh.
And it was just for shoemakers equipment, you know.
Yeah. I mean, literally everybody wears shoes. So that's a huge part of the world and a huge part of manufacturing is shoes.
That's where a huge part of our leather goes to.
Yes, is the shoe industry.
All right. What is the difference between a flat and a round beveler? When would you use each one, or is it just a personal choice?
I'm not sure
We don't.
what you mean. Like a French edger is flat, and you use it for what we just did. I skived a 45-degree angle on this piece of leather. A round beveler, which is basically what you want on the edge of a piece of leather. A finished edge is a rounded edge. You know, that's basically what you use for everything else. But some bevelers, especially the inexpensive bevelers, are ground flat on the cutting edge. You know, so they won't make a rounded edge. But when you burnish your edge, you know, especially with the vegetable tan leather, it will round itself. You will mold it round when you burnish that edge.
Thomas Beckett says good morning to you both. And then also he found a no-slip spray paint that's transparent. So he's going to try it on his leather crafts for rulers and squares so it doesn't go sliding around everywhere. You don't have a cork back ruler. Even some of the cork ones like to slide around.
Did we ever find a new vendor for the cork back ruler? I know for a minute we were having problems getting them in.
We found one for the centerfine ruler, but I don't think they have cork in them.
No, they don't. I feel like most just regular bevelers are going to be rounded. Now, once you start getting into the really wide ones, it might get a little bit flatter if you've got like the number 5 or whatever in the common better, but it'll still round it. That is another video that we're going to do, is just all about edging and bevelers, because there are so many different kinds. So that is on the schedule as well. I'm really proud of our schedule, Denny.
Yeah, I am too.
It's going to be a great couple months.
And you've done it. It was all your idea.
Well, some of it was Tony's, but we won't tell him.
I can read the schedule. Next week, on Wednesday, Clayton and Liz are going to do some airbrushing, tobacco lamp. Some of that's going to have some recorded stuff in it just because we can't do an airbrushing here. Next Friday, ways to skive. A chef knife roll the next week. Stingray inlays on a saya. Steering wheel covers. Cutting fringe. Talking about Leather Machine Company machines. A bowling ball bag. Wood gusset bag. The sneaker shootout. A money belt.
We did the wood gusset. That was a thing?
Yeah, that was my contribution, I guess. That's when you're not here.
Oh, that's when I'm not here, so I didn't pay attention. Okay.
A little saddle rebuilding. Midtown bucket pattern updating. Barstool cover.
Oh, that was the Glow Forge.
The wood
The wood, yeah. So Chad is gonna get up in here and we're gonna do another little Glowforge tutorial. Gonna get on this side of the camera. And it's been a while since we've done a Glowforge video, so we'll kind of show you guys that machine and what you can do with it, and we'll make a little project with that. And then I think him and Stacy are gonna do some shoe painting.
That was a sneaker shootout.
Yeah. So they're gonna do some Angelus painting on some sneakers, which I'm excited to see.
I requested Tony to give up a demo maybe after the show on bevelers, doing a beveling, difference between bevelers. Is that what you're talking about, Chevy guy? How about what to do with a Cayman tail?
I think he made the watch band. Yeah, he did some couple little projects. It really depends on what kind of Cayman tail you have. Some of them are really awesome and flexible and easy to work with and kind of feel like upholstery leather. And some of them are bones and there's really not too many options. So it really depends on the Cayman tail that you're working with there.
Demoing the SLC bevelers, yes.
Yeah.
We'll do that on Twitch after we get done with this.
You do you.
It's just they just hang out for a little bit longer. We talk about.
Well, do we still want to add it to the video schedule? Because I think edging is we were going to put that in.
We'll probably cover it again, but sometimes they just get it before everybody else.
Those Twitch people are so fancy.
They're used to hanging out for like 5 hours at a time. So
Tony, you have to help me put all these orders in. What are you doing?
What is this? You have to help me.
You have to help me. It's a requirement.
We need to find something else out special to do for YouTube. Facebook gets the live shopping one. What else special can YouTube have? They get recorded videos.
Yeah, we don't ever do those, but they get them.
I gotta finish editing that. I gotta finish editing the store tour one from Mike's 360 camera.
Oh yeah. How's that going, Denny?
Slow. Because I'm now to the part that you made me do. But it'll be alright.
It's gonna be great.
Oh.
I know this is hard. You can't really clamp this in a stitching pony. It's just kind of all over the place. You gotta go all the way through those 3 layers.
I can probably zoom the cameras out just a little bit. And you just, oh, there you go. Nice. Now you're cooking, Denny. Look at him. He looks up at the TV. He's like, let me just move over a little bit for you.
I do that all the time.
Yeah, if you zoom out a little bit, then you can have those two views again. I'm not doing anything exciting except for twisting sinew.
And jabbering.
It's very curly now.
Alright.
You could braid some sinew.
It's good braid. I'll tell you, one of my favorite things to do is just mystery braid. I just mystery braid all day long. I just keep adding more strands, and it's just more fun. Mystery braid everything.
Zachary says he loves the picture.
Good. So does Tony.
If I get out of one shot, he's in the other one. 2 shots to get you, Denny.
Alright. Does it take 2?
It takes 2, baby. It takes 2, baby.
Me and you.
Just Seems familiar. With the Glowforge, I've got one, but I would love to know how to use it better. Since you are so experienced, any advice on what leathers work better and what sort of adjustments to make? We will talk about that.
Yeah. So
we have one Glowforge video.
The people in this room, except for Stacy, who doesn't like to speak to other people, we're not really the best Glowforgers. Chad's out today, so we will. I mean, like veg tan is probably the best leather to laser, just because it's firm. But you can laser everything. Stacy, come talk to us about Glowforge. What is the best leathers to laser? Herman Oak Veg Tan. Flat out. 100%. Straight up. But Stacy lasers everything. He even lasered some cork the other day. He's like, I should do this more often. So, honestly, just practice. If you've got a piece and you don't know, like, cut a little section off, see what happens. The darker the leather, if you're lasering an image, obviously, the less it's going to show. But sometimes, you know, if you've got a dark leather that's kind of got a lighter back to it, if you're working with an oil tan, it might come out really well. A lot of it's just experiment. As long as you've got a good ventilation system hooked up to your laser, you can laser whatever you want. I think Glowforge only recommends that you laser with vegetable tan leather. But, you know, we're rebels here, so we try everything. And we're very vented. So our lasers in the back, we have custom venting for them. We do have a Glowforge on retail. So if anybody is in the neighborhood and you wanted to experience a Glowforge, you can come in. We have one on retail. Most of the retail staff know how to run it, so you can plop something in there. Or we'll get Zach out and he can kind of show you the ropes on what a Glowforge could do for you. So I think we've got the medium version, the medium powered one, and then the pro one.
The pro is in the back, and then what's the first model like?
It's not the base, it's the next one.
Yeah.
So whatever that. The plus. So we've got a plus and a pro here.
I'm actually posting a link to the discount on Facebook later today, and I did the link in our Instagram bio too.
Sweet.
People want to get discounts on laser engravers.
Yeah, we are an affiliate with Glowforge, so there is a little bit of a discount if you buy through the link that's on our website. You can get, depending on the model that you buy, a couple $100 off of your purchase. They're really snazzy machines. They're great for people that are doing one-off custom things. Or you want to customize products, you know, you can put people's logos on them. You can, laser names, which if you're not a tooler, sometimes it's hard to customize. Or if you're working with leather other than veg tan, you know, it's really hard to customize those leathers unless you have a foil stamping machine, which is also really expensive. And then for foil stamping machines, you always have to get dies. Or the stamps, you know, for every image that you want to do, or the alphabet sets are pretty expensive. So, having a laser engraver just adds exponentially to your ability to customize your products. I'm just gonna do some macrame over here.
You do that. What I'm doing is just drudgery here.
He is box stitching. We typically try not to do too much hand sewing on these videos because it's really not super exciting, but sometimes you just can't avoid it.
Well, that was fun.
What?
YouTube just got hammered with some messages on there.
About our singing?
No.
Oh.
Somebody coming in and spamming stuff. So
Oh,
I had
cool.
to delete it and report it. Yay.
People are lovely.
Eric has to go be an adult and do work.
Bye, Eric.
See you, Eric. Thanks for dropping in.
I'm excited about our airbrushing next week. I've got some doilies that we're going to be putting some running horses on, like a little image that you could use for, you know, going under the lamp, going under a pretty bowl on either side of your couch. We're going to do some ragging. So the tobacco lamb is it's an unfinished lambskin that's like a medium brown color.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes burnishing really, really well. So we like to take the tobacco lamb to the sander, and you can sand the edges and kind of rag them and give them a really rustic look to it. And then you can take it to the airbrush and you can do like a burst of dark brown or whatever color you want around the edge and just make it look really neat. So Clayton and I are going to going to do some airbrushing before the video, and then we'll do a little bit of product assembly, and then we'll just kind of show you some of the things that we did. And maybe attempt to use this little sander guy over here, this little Craft Plus machine, to do some sanding. We'll see how that goes and how messy it is. I always hate getting leather dust in my coffee, but it might be inevitable. So
It's never happened, right?
Never. We're mostly made out of leather, the people that work here anyways. It's so dusty. There's so much leather dust everywhere.
Made out of leather.
We're just... I know. I listened to a book the other day that was like, we're basically just made out of corn because they put corn byproducts in literally everything that we consume. So our bodies are basically just one big corn molecule. But for those of us that work at Springfield Leather, it's got to run for its money. Please stop kicking your cameras, Tony.
I was trying to get to the other one to fix it, and now I gotta fix them both.
I'm ready to eat my soup, Denny. How's it coming?
Well, I'm closer.
Closer than he was before.
I thought this won't take any time.
But
I should have stitched that end cap.
Oh, because we were doing
through the
both of
week.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well.
the Chevy guy says he's the corn from Nebraska. Oh, man. Viking sandals. You need to make Liz make those Viking sandals I just sent to Facebook. That was razor blades.
Shoes are a whole thing that
But
I
these are sandals, not shoes.
have not tried.
Well,
I have some gladiator looking sandals that I bought from good old Freebirds that I like a lot. Do you guys ever buy any leather products and then you get it and then you immediately start judging the construction of said leather products or what you would do differently?
Always.
that is normal.
That is
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
okay. And that is, I guess that is literally my job, is to judge leather craft.
Yeah. It's your job to be judgmental.
Critical of everything. So I love my sandals. Like, they are super cool, but they lace up the front, right? So they kind of like lace up the front of the shin here, and on the turnbacks, so you've got these leather straps that come around, and they didn't skive the inside of the strap. So you just have this full leather thickness that comes around, and then it's got a lace that runs through it, and then you've got like 2 stitch lines to make sure that it's secured. And man, that just it just rubs on my ankles, and it's very, very inconvenient. And if they would have just skived down that inside layer so that it folded really nicely and wasn't so bulky, it would have just been such a better shoe. It wouldn't eat my ankles when I wear them, and I would appreciate that.
And you would advertise for them.
That's right. I mean, still go buy some Freebirds because they're really great shoes. I mean, it really probably doesn't get too much better for a manufactured shoe. But you just have to buy bespoke custom shoes from one-off people and then pay 15 times more. And then they'll skive the insides, I'm sure.
Or you can be a cobbler.
Or I could be a cobbler. Chris tried to make shoes one time. He made like 3 or 4 individual shoes before he actually decided to make a pair. Because every time he made one,
Made a bunch of left.
So he has a bunch of one side. And then he's like, nope, I can do it better. So then he would start over again. And so we have like 3 individual shoes before we had the pair that he was actually kind of okay with. He doesn't wear them. They just sit in a box. But
Scott on YouTube says, it's more interesting to watch Denny hand sew. And also fun watching Tony trying to keep him in the frame.
Well, we're glad you guys are enjoying this.
Speaking of shoes and singles, my wife and I, we walk about every night somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And all the time we're finding a single shoe somewhere.
Right.
A flip-flop or a tennis shoe or a kid's shoe. But it's always a left foot. I don't think we've ever found a right foot.
I like that you pick them up and look at them to see which foot it is.
Well,
You can look at them without picking them up, Liz. You don't have to pick up everything in the street.
after a while, you can just spot them a mile away. There's another left foot.
Another left foot.
All right, John Adams has the question of the day. I'm sure it's weighing on everybody's mind. Is this the first beard that Denny ever grew out? That he
No,
has right now?
no. I had a beard when I was younger, until I was probably 35 years old. And then I shaved it off, and I hadn't had a beard at all until about 4 years ago.
As you say, you mostly had a mustache.
Yeah, I've always had a mustache.
Can you bring in a picture? You know that we had the Facebook picture of Kevin sitting on a forklift or whatever. Would you bring in a young Denny picture? You got any of those?
I've got a picture, I think, out there in my
We should have a
saddle
picture of it.
portfolio of me years ago, back when my hair was brown. There was no beard.
We had that picture of you in that saddle competition.
Yeah, that was.
There was a picture of me?
Or was it just your saddle?
I think it was
Oh
just
no,
a
it was
saddle.
just a picture of your saddle and then that silly looking judge guy.
Oh,
He always had that big old smile on his face.
God forbid they smile.
It was,
old Martin Bergen, that was his name. Sorry, Martin. You're a funny guy, but
he just
you
had
did
a
make
big old
people
smile.
laugh. I'll say that.
Huh?
He did make people laugh.
He did. It's just one of those. It's one of those smiles you look at, you just can't help but smiling and get a little chuckle with it as well. It was just one of those big ones. Gene, be nice. It wasn't 100 years ago when you had brown hair.
It's close. Getting closer every day.
I gotta be nice to Denny, otherwise he's gonna keep giving me that scowl. That's why his face isn't in the picture right now.
I think your hair was kind of brown when you started here.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Might have been.
We probably gave him all this gray. Stressed him out working on retail.
Have you ever tried Phoebe's Antique in your hair, Denny?
No,
Maybe on accident?
Get you a little light brown going on?
actually, I'm perfectly content with my hair right now, you guys.
I was just teasing.
How do we get off? What was that other question I had a while ago? I don't know if I answered it or not.
Did we ask one?
I don't remember.
Did we miss it? Anybody have a question that we missed?
Oh, my copper bracelet.
Oh,
I
right.
forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, we did.
You said it was too hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be wearing my watch, but then I wouldn't know how much overtime we're working right here.
Is that what it is when the video goes into over an hour?
I guess.
You get overtime?
Yeah, I get $5 an hour.
Oh, you need to get time and a half. Just to pay 50 cents more. That Chevy guy says Denny has that natural antique going on. That's patina.
Yeah, patina. There you go. Just remember, you guys, your day's coming.
Yep. I don't like to think about that.
Yeah, don't. Just be happy with where you are.
Oh, I did miss Charles' question. I knew there was one that I missed. What leather would be the best to make a gym bag out of?
Probably an oil tan, something pretty drapey.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too firm.
Yeah, I would use an oil tan because then it's not going to want to absorb a lot of the moisture. Because, like, if you did one that actually had some pretty decent oil content to it, it should repel a decent amount. I made a couple duffel bags, like a couple gym bags, and that was still my duffel bag pattern that I did. That was why I made it. It's because I made a gym bag for a couple people. So the duffel bag pattern that we put out here a while ago that has the two 12-inch circles and the 3 panels that go around. So they're 12 by 24s, I think, or maybe the 12 by 20s.
Uh-huh.
That was originally a duffel bag. That's why I made it. So Clayton and I did that video, we used hair on, which I probably wouldn't use for a gym bag.
Probably not a good one.
No, not so much, but
Look cool.
mine were,
For me.
yeah, mine. I did. So the first one I made was out of that boot scuff that we used to carry because it was super cheap and I wanted to make sure everything worked. But that actually turned out to be a pretty good bag. It was pretty heavy duty. That boot scuff has a really good finish to it. It was a kind of a pebbly grain. Please don't call and ask for it. We do not have it anymore. It was years and years and years ago. And then the second one, I just used some brown oil tan that had a really cool brand on it, and I made a pocket and put the brand on the pocket.
I did this wrong.
All that stitching, we've done it wrong.
Yeah, I put my loop on, my tunnel loop on wrong, but that's alright. It'll still work.
We're not restarting now, guys.
Nope, too late for that.
Charles said it's for a stinky teenager. Yeah, keep it well tan, so at least you can keep his clothes smelling good. Razor Blade says he wishes he still had hair to forget the color of. He was bald at 35.
Woo!
Oil tan deerskin. Deerskins could be pretty good for a gym bag.
That'd be real drapey.
It would be drapey.
It would be a really supple bag, which might be fine. You could always use, if you use the construction that I did, you could always use a firmer bottom section and then more drapey sides so that you at least have some structure to it.
Nice marking tool there, dude.
Thank you. Thumbnail's a good marker.
I have one long nail. Why is that? So I can mark my stuff out with.
It's one Chinese kung fu thumbnail. Alright, folks. Good, better, otherwise, we've got it.
There she blows. And then Denny's going to saddle soap this thing and
Oil
then flick it up. And then it's going to look beautiful like this one. Look at that patina already just from a coat of saddle soap and then some quick shine.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is that another one you made, or is that the one that you've had?
That's the one we did. That's the one.
This is its trial.
The prototype. Yeah.
Yep. There it is.
Oh, did you not put your seam things together on your...
Yep, that was the issue. So the seam is
The seam
here.
is under here.
Which, you know what? That actually kind of worked
Yeah.
out. At least it was somewhere.
It's hidden.
You can't see it anymore.
So.
What is a hole puncher that Denny just used?
This is an Osborne single tube spring punch that I've taken the spring out of years ago.
It's an Osborne springless punch.
Yeah. It's just a single tube punch. It punches the same way a rotary punch does.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, well.
I'm looking for any questions that I missed.
Okay. You got
Razor Blade says 1981. Say that your favorite movie growing up was Goonies. That and Top Gun. That was the only question.
Who's excited about the new Top Gun coming out?
I
Anybody?
didn't
I'll have
know
to
there
wait.
was one.
Yeah.
We talked about it in here, and I said I sure hope they don't screw it up.
I know. I'm excited about it.
I'm trying to get
We'll have
Chad to do some fan art of Top Gun and draw me in with Maverick with a jet flying over my head.
All right. I'm starving, so let's do this.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next week.
Thanks, you guys.
Have a great
Sorry it
weekend.
took so long.
Bye.